Episode 38. Episode 38, Convos with KEEGS. I think it's 38. I'm just guessing. Yeah, this is a life podcast. This episode is a life podcast, I should say. So, what topics do we have, Peyton?
Okay, so basically what I'm getting at is things people should have been taught either in school or, like, I feel like a lot of the times, like, if you don't have parents that aren't capable of teaching you things, specific things,
yeah,
it's going to be really hard to, like, learn them, obviously. If no one's going to teach you, you're not going to learn.
Yeah.
So, hold on.
And to that point, before you get into it, I've thought about this a lot. Like, it's not necessarily the parents' fault because the parents were never taught that.
Right.
You know?
It's just if, like...
It's like a generational thing where, like, no generation has been taught life skills specifically. Like,
but there is, like, people... Like, there's a lot of people in my life, like, they might not even be in my life anymore, but I've learned so much from them.
Yeah.
Because, like, they were taught such good things by, like, their parents. It's, like, good to surround yourself by people that you can learn from.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. We can start with college since that was, like, a mutual thing.
I mean, I could go off on this. Where did you want to start with that?
Well, like, college, for me, I feel like it's good. It can be good to have as, like, a backup because technically I don't need a degree for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's good to have, because unfortunately, not in order to have a job, but if you want, like, a decent paying job, just literally having a degree can get you paid more.
Yes.
It can.
In today's world, yes.
If you want to be a teacher,
it's required.
And, like,
a master's.
You get paid more. Yeah. If you have a bachelor's, you don't get paid as more as being a master's. Obviously, it's, like, an obvious thing.
Well, in New York, you can't even be a teacher unless you have a master's.
True. You can be a sub, though.
Yeah, you can be a sub. I have a very, very harsh view on college. I think.
Well, it's good because you didn't go, but I did.
No, I went.
Oh, you did?
I went for a year, yeah.
Well, so, like, you didn't finish it. Like, I did.
Yeah. So
it's kind of good.
Yes. I would say, but you did it in the way that, like, most people should do it.
Oh, my God. I literally would tell everyone to do it the way I did.
Yeah, because you didn't dorm, right?
Well, two things. Yeah, I didn't dorm, but that's kind of hard because, like, if you don't live near, like, a college where you can drive to.
Yeah, that's
obviously
true.
You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't dorm, which is good and bad because dorming is good because you, like, can meet people and, like, create relationships and, like, friends and all that good stuff. I just went to school and went home. Mm-hmm. Literally, like, this sounds exaggerating. I literally didn't have a single friend from UB. But, like, I didn't care. Like, it kept me focused on what I was doing. It's not, like, I feel like friends can be, like, a distraction, like, going out and all that stuff. Also, I went to community college before.
Huge.
Don't waste your time going to a 4-year school right off the bat, unless you're going to be, like, something like a doctor.
Yes.
Like that. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went to a community college for 2 years and just got, like, the basics. Because all those transfer.
What did you study in community college?
Well, so I didn't just go for, like, general and community. Yeah. I did go for business still. So I did business for 2 years at community college, ECC, and then all that transferred to UB, and I still did business. Yeah. So, like, it all still lined up good. But
I have this one friend that went to, they did the right, like, they didn't know exactly what they wanted to do, so they went to community college, but they went for a specific associate's degree. That's the one you get in community college, right?
Yeah, associates.
Mm-hmm. And then when they figured out what they wanted to do and they went to their 4-year, none of their credits transferred.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard because if you don't, like, if I went to ECC and just got, like, general studies associates, not all of it's going to go towards my business degree.
Yeah. It's a weird,
Another thing is I feel like, I don't know if it's like that now, obviously, because we're not in that age, but it was like super frowned upon to like take time off in between high school and college.
Yeah.
People are like, nope, you got to go right to college. Like, you have to know what you want. And at 16, it blows my mind to think about 16-year-olds now deciding on what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Fucking crazy.
Like, blows
isn't
my
it?
mind. Like, I was not worried about that.
That was the last thing on my mind. Yeah,
It's crazy.
That's part of the reason why I fucking hate the education system right now. It's because they do push that, especially in I don't want to name, I mean, everyone who probably is going to listen to this podcast knows where I went to high school, but it was considered one of the best public schools in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very not explicitly frowned upon, but in my case, like, I had a lot of trouble trying to talk to people about, like, you know, I didn't want to go to college at all, and I was vocal about it, and like I got judged so much by teachers, a lot of parents, a fuck ton of parents.
Yep.
A lot of kids too. Like, I didn't have the best grades, but they weren't bad, and like everyone would just make me feel fucking stupid.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's like, again, like surrounding yourself by people that you're going to learn from. Like, the people I was friends with all knew what they wanted to do. So then when they'd ask me, it was so hard to pretend that I knew what I wanted to do when I really had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I had absolutely no idea. And everyone's like, I'm going for this, I'm going for that. And I'm like, how do you know what you want to go for? How do you know that? And even graduating college, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I graduated college and was like, okay, now what? Like, no idea what to do.
Yeah. And it's a bad thing, because honestly, a lot of your friends that probably said that, same with my friends who they said they knew what they wanted to do, and they go get their degree, and then they're in that job for 5 years, and then let's say you're 27 and you hate your job, you don't like the field you're in, you don't like the degrees you have.
Like, now you're in it.
Still $50,000 in debt, and like you need to keep the job that you hate because you have to pay back the debt for the degree that you don't want. The college is the single biggest scam in America. And for a lot of people, it works, you know, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's what you truly, truly want to do. But
right, like, that's, you just go for it at that point. Yeah.
Jobs now are not requiring degrees as much as they used to be.
It's almost like they're requiring a degree, but it doesn't have to be in the field you're applying for.
Yeah, it's like, exactly. It's weird.
Like, everyone these days just go for business, and if you don't know what you want to do.
Well,
because you can go anywhere with business.
That's true. My rebuttal to that would be business school is kind of a joke, because you're better.
I didn't know shit about business when I graduated. But I'm also like not the greatest student, so.
But I mean, you graduated with a degree. That's not an easy feat. Like, to get a degree is definitely not easy. It doesn't matter if you got C's or you got A's. The piece of paper is the same, you know? But if someone were to go into business, like if they wanted to be in the world of business, I don't think getting a degree is the way to go. I think getting a life skills and experiences, meeting people, creating relationships, and having connections will get you way farther in the business world.
Networking.
That was
that was like one of the classes I took was networking.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is kind of all about who you know.
1,000%.
Which kind of sucks, but.
It does. I mean, business is just a game. Like, and we live in America, so it's capitalist society. The game is available to everyone, no matter the circumstances you're under. Like, obviously some people, their the environment they're in might make it a little bit easier objectively, but at the end of the day, like, the opportunity is there if you play your cards right, and if you put yourself in environments that will bring you further in whatever you want to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And meeting people, like, if someone, a senior, came to me and said, "Hey, I'm interested in business. I don't know if I want to go to school for it, blah, 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 blah." I would ask, like, well, what are you in business for? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to be a marketer, advertising, sales? Like, what do you want to do? If the answer is, I want to start my own business, going to college, you're going to learn fucking nothing, you know? I would just, just leave it off.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, I remember in my classes in college, like, these business professors were trying to teach me shit. And
is that what you went to school for?
Went to school for business administration, the most basic fucking degree you could possibly get.
See, that's what I went to EC for, business administration. But then when I went to, well, I guess, yeah, that's what I graduated with. Business administration with a concentration in marketing.
Yeah. See, that has value in it because marketing is huge.
Did I take business management? I don't know.
You don't even know the degree.
Know. It's either administration or management.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's not good.
But yeah, like, these professors were trying to teach us things about business, and they never fucking started a business in their life.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make sense.
A lot of professors, like, that's their second job, is being a professor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one good business professor that, like, I actually learned shit from.
What year?
I think he was both years at UB.
So your second or your third and fourth,
yeah.
Well, that brings us to another topic. Prereqs should be banned. There's no reason.
Prereqs are, like,
there's no reason. If I went to school for business, right? There's no reason I should be taking a history class.
Okay, right.
Like,
yeah, I already did that in high school.
Exactly.
Or I did it in school in general for 12 fucking years.
Right?
I don't need to know about that anymore.
Right. If I wanted to learn about history, or if I wanted to be in a job where history is required, I would have chose that degree.
Right.
Yeah, prereqs are literally just to get money.
You could probably get a bachelor's degree technically in 2 years if you didn't have to take all the extra shit, like seminars.
100%.
Seminars.
Yeah.
Like, I know they want to teach you about the school and everything, but it's like, come on. Or, like, I guess a prereq is, like, I took art classes. Is that a prereq, or is that?
That's
start with an E.
Elective.
Yeah. Those are also, like, I think it's there to kind of, like, let you experiment in, like, other things.
Yeah.
But, like, come on. We could get our degrees so much faster and, like, start working if you didn't have us do that.
I know. You're preaching to the choir. It's hard. I don't want to, like... Or I could really go off.
Here we go. Change these seminars and electives for basically a life class.
Yeah.
That's going to teach you how to, like, okay, I own my own business.
Yeah.
And this year I learned about, like, a Roth IRA.
IRA, yeah.
Like a retirement plan, because technically I don't have I don't have a company that's going to
fund that, yeah.
Give me a retirement plan, so I have to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And if your parents don't teach you that and your schools don't teach you that, how the hell are you going to learn about it?
Yeah.
Get lucky with someone in your life that tells you about it?
Yeah. I still don't understand all that shit. Honestly, retirement stuff does not.
Huge.
I would argue yes, it is huge. 100%. I just have never understood why there's so much emphasis on them. As far as, like, so basically, oh man, we could get into, like, the rat race of America if you wanted to. because that's kind of how they get people to take jobs, is because they offer like a salary, and part of it goes into retirement and healthcare and all that shit. You know, they offer a lot of benefits to keep you in that job. Like the whole system behind American schools is to create workers and not free thinkers.
But it's also so important to have those benefits too.
Is it though?
Yeah, because you don't want to pay for fucking, you know how much like an ambulance is?
That's true.
Like if you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're right.
And you don't have like a company to help you pay for it. Like
that's very
like,
true.
You have to pay for that by yourself. It's like $5,000 or something to get transported by ambulance somewhere.
Yeah.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, everyone has a different puzzle in their life. I think it's nice that, are you under your parents' insurance till you're 26? Mm-hmm. So that's huge. Like if
but if I didn't have that, like I didn't have it for like 2 months because like my dad was switching jobs.
Yeah.
And like you don't even think about it, but like something tragic can happen. Like you can get in a car accident, and if I'm not covered, like I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Like you have to have it to even go to a doctor's appointment, like to literally get like a checkup.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people would argue that America should have free healthcare. I don't know too much about it.
Me either. I really don't.
Yeah. I know from talking to people I know from Canada, because Canada has free healthcare.
Right.
But I don't know much about it, so I don't.
But I heard like
it's not great.
It's not good.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
A lot of people love capitalism. A lot of people don't. I don't. I think capitalism is the easiest way for someone to go from nothing to something. Mm-hmm. It's hard to do it in any other way. It's honestly more about, like we were just talking about, who you know and putting yourself in situations and creating opportunities for yourself. But people don't want to do that because it requires a lot more effort and a lot more problem solving than going to college to get a degree to get a job. It's a pretty straightforward path, you know.
Right. Guaranteed something at the end of it.
Of course, yeah. And that comfort is definitely good for a lot of people. If college was cheaper than it is, I think it would be a great thing, but it's just too fucking expensive.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. Especially now, like, you go to, I don't know, what's an expensive school? Syracuse? Mm-hmm. It's like $60,000 a year, I think. Imagine you don't get any scholarships or financial aid. You're paying out of pocket.
You're just like straight up middle class.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have, what is that? The Excelsior program now? Your parents make under a certain amount, like you still get something out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying.
Yeah.
They're trying, but still.
It just, I worry that.
I think college will be like a thing in like 10 years. Like it's obviously going to always be a thing, but I think people are literally like, it's going to become rare for people to go to college. Plus,
as it should.
Do everything online these days.
That's another thing. Yeah, you can learn anything by yourself if you wanted to.
You could do grad school online.
Yeah.
Like you could be technically going to a college in California, but you're just doing it at home in New York.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So get rid of the freaking colleges. But some people can't learn that way. Like I cannot do online school.
I wouldn't be able to do it either.
Cannot. Because like my senior year was COVID. So like the last like month, it was all online. Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
I was checked out. I'm like, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Like no one's telling me to do it. I'm not sitting in front of a teacher.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah. It's definitely case by case. I knew since I started high school that I didn't want to go to college. I've never been a school person. Never made sense to me.
Good at school.
Like I just did not understand why I had to sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day to learn a bunch of bullshit that I know I would never fucking use. It like that whole concept does not make sense to me.
And like the things they teach.
Yeah.
Like trigonometry. Have you used it since?
Nope. Algebraic quadratic formula. Never used that.
Like you don't use.
History.
I feel like English is a great one.
English is great. Yeah.
Foreign language, even though when you're that age, like I don't remember anything from my foreign language class, but I think it's important.
That is one thing I wish I started earlier and I took more seriously.
And like kept going with it for sure.
That is something that I think would be very cool to see in like elementary schools. And you start in kindergarten, very, very basic level, and you just continue every year. Honestly, in America, Spanish is probably the way to go.
Right.
French, you're not really getting much value out of. That's what I took. Latin's definitely has its benefits, but Spanish is definitely the most useful.
I just had a button on here on accident.
That's all right. It still works. Yeah.
Like they did with cursive. Did you learn cursive when you were younger?
Yeah. And yeah.
Like why were they so adamant on teaching us cursive, but like not a different language?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's just a style of writing, and they were like, you have to learn it. Why?
Yeah, it is. Now that I'm thinking about it, like the school system is just so fucking outdated.
It is outdated is a great word for it.
It's
very
crazy.
Outdated.
So if you had a kid right now, an 18-year-old, would you want?
Why a kid? That's an adult. 18?
18 is still a kid. I think you're still a kid till you're 25.
Okay.
I think, like, honestly,
well,
at 18, like, to think that you need to make a $60,000 decision at 18 to go to school, because that's what it is. Like,
I was 16. I mean, I graduated when I was 16. I was young for my grade. From high school.
What?
I was 16 when I graduated.
How?
I think.
When did you turn 7? When's your birthday?
September 21st.
And you were turning 17.
Graduated in 2016, so if you can do the math.
What the fuck?
Wait, am I lying right now?
I'm
not lying, but I might be just totally far off.
Were you 17 or 16? I mean, either way, that's still young.
Hold on, let me do.
But to think that you have to make like a...
Oh, yeah, I was 18. What kind of drugs am I on? Okay, I was 18 when I graduated high school. I think it mixed me up because I graduated in 2016. I think I was mixing that up. We'll just say that to make me look better.
I knew some kids that graduated at 16, but they like just skipped their senior year pretty much.
Smarty pants. Okay, another class that I like loved in school. This kind of goes with life was basically school growing up.
What do you? Yeah,
your life was school until I was in my 20s. I'm not going to say what age because clearly I don't know what grade age I graduate. But another class that I hope they still do, technology, but not technology in the sense of physical like computers and shit. Like I had like a class where we like made saws.
Shop class.
Yeah, like a shop class.
Yeah.
But like we had to take it. It wasn't like, do you want to take shop class? No, we had to.
Yeah. We had that in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. For like
I
1
feel
quarter.
like that's one of my things I wrote down is I feel like it's so important for people to know how to, I wrote DIY shit.
Yeah.
But not like fucking making a candle. Like working with your hands. Like, this isn't going to sound very humble of me. But like I did a lot of this shit on my own.
Yeah.
Making the studio, like laid the floor.
Yeah.
And like I feel like there's not a lot of specifically girls my age that would do that.
100%.
Like laying a vinyl floor or like screwing in plywood. Like it sounds bizarre. But like not a lot of people know how to do that.
Yeah. I agree.
And I feel like it's so important. Like, yeah, you can pay somebody, but you know how long this would have taken to get done if I had hired people out?
Yeah.
Months.
Yeah.
And we got it done in like a couple weeks.
I 100% agree. I think it's super funny to your point of like specifically females not typically doing this kind of construction work by themselves. I know a lot of females who fucking hate men, like to their core, they dislike men. until it's time when they need them. And it's like
you could get so much hate for this.
For what? For that? Saying that?
For saying that, because like
it's just true. It's like
it is true. Like you made a comment that one day when I was doing the floor.
What did I say?
Or I made a comment. And I was like, this is why this is a man's job.
Oh, yes.
And you were like, I forgot what you responded to it. But I was like, that's so true. Like, I don't know. I just don't have, like, the energy to do that shit.
Yeah, it's a weird... I think this kind of goes back to, like, the unhealthy kind of mindset that the kids coming up are under. Because, you know, I know a lot of girls that really hate men.
Mm-hmm.
Like and it is really, really unhealthy. Cause you know, when it's time for something when they need not necessarily a man, but like they need something done and they say things like, you know, this is a man's job. And then in my head, I'm like, well, what happened to everything else you just said about hating men and all this other
That's
shit?
like when people say they hate cops, but who's the first person you're going to call when someone breaks into your house?
That's what I'm saying. It's we live in a
cop.
A hypocritical society.
Oh, well, that like really makes me mad.
What?
Like people, this is very controversial. This is all very controversial, but like hating cops. It blows my mind because the first thing someone does if they need instant like help is call the police.
Yeah.
But you're gonna hate them.
Yeah, it's a weird fucking world. It's an odd world.
I don't know how we got on this DOI shit, working with your hands.
But I mean, it's true. Like that's why it makes me scared for the future, because we're getting to a place where, like, I had this conversation with my mom a while back, like, about the patriarchy of men. And, you know, I get everything. Like, there's a lot of shitty men out there. There's also a lot of shitty women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think hating, if a woman hates a man, why, or if a woman hates men, I should say, like in general, that kind of mindset has to be frowned upon. Otherwise, like if that's okay to hate all men, it might not have an effect on your life right now, but in 30 years, if that mindset continues, like we're going to have a real fucking problem.
Yeah, because if you teach the younger generation that, it's not good. I think we've come a long way from it though, because like back in the day it was men worked, women stayed home.
Yeah.
Obviously now it's way different.
Yeah.
Now it can totally be switched around and there's stay-at-home dads and stuff like that.
I would fucking love to be a stay-at-home dad.
See, I think I would absolutely hate being a stay-at-home mom. I would hate it.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't.
Unless I had like, okay, clearly nothing against stay-at-home moms, because like when the kids are young, I get it, like fucking taking care of them and like all that. But like after your kids are like in college, the hell do you do? Work out, hopefully, like do something.
I think the stay-at-home parent is slowly dying. I don't know if that's for good or bad. Haven't really thought about it too much, but you know, I say I want to be a stay-at-home dad, but I don't think I could ever.
I think it's really important though. Like